Imagine for a moment that you are standing in front of a massive iron vault. You know for a fact that inside this vault sits $500,000 in pure wealth. It is a number you have worked 30 years to reach. It is the milestone that society told you would mean you have finally made it. But here is the problem. You do not have the key to the vault. And tonight, when your property tax bill arrives, or when you need to pay for an unexpected medical procedure, that $500,000 inside the vault might as well not exist. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. Today we are going to talk about a silent crisis facing millions of Americans in their 50s and 60s. It is the phenomenon of being asset-rich but cash-poor. According to research from the Federal Reserve, about 29% of households in the United States have reached a net worth of $500,000 or more. On paper, this sounds like a victory for the middle class, but once you peel back the layers, a much more complicated and sometimes frightening story begins to emerge. Today, we are breaking down exactly who these people are, why that $500,000 number is often a dangerous illusion, and how you can avoid the trap of paper wealth before it is too late. Before we dive into the data, I want you to ask yourself a very honest question. If you had to come up with $50,000 in cash by tomorrow morning, could you do it without taking on a new loan or selling your primary home? For the vast majority of people with a $500,000 net worth, the answer is a resounding no. And that is where the danger begins. To understand why, we first have to define what net worth actually measures. Net worth is simply a mathematical calculation of everything you own minus everything you owe. It includes your house, your car, your retirement accounts, and even the furniture in your living room. It is a great metric for your ego, but it is a terrible metric for your daily survival. Think about the typical household reaching this milestone. Usually they own a home worth $400,000 with $200,000 in equity. They have another $150,000 in a retirement account like a 401k. The remaining $150,000 is scattered across cars, personal property, and perhaps a small savings account. On a spreadsheet, they are worth $500,000. In reality, their usable financial power is a tiny fraction of that. The largest portion of their wealth is locked inside the very walls they sleep in. This is what we call the home equity trap. In states like Hawaii or Massachusetts, home equity can make up as much as 70% of a household's total wealth. While it is wonderful that your home has increased in value over the last 2 decades, you cannot go to the grocery store and pay with a piece of your drywall. You cannot use your kitchen cabinets to pay for a transmission repair on your car. In fact, as your home value goes up, your life often becomes more expensive, not less. Higher home values mean higher property taxes. They mean higher insurance premiums. And as you get older, the cost of maintaining that valuable asset only grows. This leads to a paradoxical situation where a person feels wealthy because their neighborhood is booming, but they feel stressed every time they check their bank balance. They are living in a $500,000 vault that they cannot unlock without moving out or going into debt. Let us look at 2 different people to see why the structure of your wealth matters more than the total number. Imagine 2 neighbors, both with a net worth of exactly $500,000. The first neighbor, let us call him Mark, owns a beautiful home worth $700,000 but still has a mortgage of $400,000. His remaining wealth is tied up in his pension and 2 late model vehicles. The second neighbor, let us call him David, chooses to live in a modest apartment and rents his home. However, David has $500,000 sitting entirely in a diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds. Both men appear the same on a balance sheet, but their financial trajectories are worlds apart. David's wealth is an active machine. Every single day the market is open, his $500,000 is working for him. At an average return of 7 to 10%, his money could double to $1 million in about 7 to 10 years without him ever lifting a finger. He has total liquidity and total flexibility. Mark, on the other hand, has a static asset. While his home might appreciate by 3 or 4% a year, that growth is often eaten alive by taxes, interest, and repairs. His wealth is not a machine, it is a shelter. It is valuable, but it is not productive. And this is the hard truth that many people in their 60s realize far too late. A home is a place to live. It is not a retirement plan. Now, why is this distinction so critical right now? It is because of the two greatest threats to your golden years, inflation and healthcare. For a long time, $500,000 was considered the gold standard for a comfortable life. But in 2025, the math has changed. According to recent estimates from major financial institutions like Fidelity, a typical retired couple will need approximately $350,000 just to cover medical expenses throughout their retirement. If you have a $500,000 net worth and $300,000 of that is in your home, you are effectively one major health crisis away from total financial depletion. This is the reality that the headlines do not tell you. They celebrate the fact that more Americans are millionaires than ever before. But they do not mention that much of that wealth is tied up in an asset that is difficult to sell and impossible to spend. This creates a sense of false security that prevents people from saving more or investing more aggressively while they still have the time. So if you find yourself in this position, what should you do? The first step is to stop focusing on your total net worth and start focusing on your liquid ratio. How much of your wealth is actually working for you in the form of dividends, interest, or capital gains? If your liquid assets are less than 20% of your total wealth, you are in the danger zone. The second step is to have a serious conversation about downsizing. For many people, the family home is a museum of memories, but from a financial perspective, it might be a liability that is holding your retirement hostage. By selling a large home and moving into a smaller, more efficient space, you can unlock that trapped equity and move it into the market where it can actually grow. The third step is to stop treating your home as a primary investment. Once your home is paid off, it provides stability and lower monthly costs, which is excellent, but do not expect it to fund your lifestyle. Real wealth is built in the accounts that pay you while you sleep. It is built in the compound interest of the stock market and the consistent flow of passive income. We must remember that the goal of retirement is not to have the biggest house on the block. The goal is to have the freedom to say yes to the things that matter and no to the things that do not. $500,000 is a magnificent foundation. It is more than what half of the population will ever see, but it is only a tool if you know how to use it. Do not let your wealth stay locked in the vault. Understand the difference between what you own and what you can actually use, because at the end of the day, your quality of life will not be determined by the value of your home on a real estate website. It will be determined by the flexibility of your bank account and the peace of mind that comes from knowing your future is secure. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this analysis helped you see your finances in a new light, please consider subscribing to the channel. We are here to help you navigate the complex world of money with honesty and clarity. Until next time, keep your focus on the facts and your eyes on the long-term goal.